All right, all right, all right. Here we go. KarQ, Overwatch 2, every hero change for Season 6 Invasion. All right, chat. Let's go see what changes are in the new season. What you got for us, KarQ? What you got for us?
Overwatch 2 Season 6 is called Invasion. You may have seen ads all around the world. They're pumping a lot of money into the advertising and marketing this season because this is supposed to be the biggest content drop the game has seen since the release of the game last October. So,
yo, insane content drop, boys. Oh my god. Yo, came to Steam. Oh my god, mostly negative. 12.5k mostly negative. Oh, dude, this content drop is going crazy right now. Absolutely crazy right now.
Let's start this video off with the PvP competitive balance changes.
Okay.
For D.Va, her booster's cooldown is getting reduced from 4 to 3.5 seconds, a slight buff. Additionally, D.Va is now damage immune for 0.4 seconds while ejecting. The devs comment, once D.Va's mech was...
I think this was good for D.Va because before, when there was no counterplay and you would just get instantly pulsed and die. So I think the getting out of in a vulnerability frames, I think it's pretty good for that change.
Was destroyed, there was a window of time where the pilot could be damaged or killed before the player fully had control over their character. With this change, D.Va can no longer be damaged by things like explosions or melee attacks before the player fully transitions control from the mech to the pilot. For Doom, his seismic slam cooldown is being reduced from 7 to 6 seconds, and his power block now reduces damage from stuck projectiles. The devs comment,
also for Ramatra does the same thing. So if you ever get pulsed or magnetic grenaded, just hey bro, put up the hands. No damage, dude. Put up the hands.
Doomfist is performing well overall, but tends to have more deaths on average compared to other tanks. Lowering the seismic slam cooldown will reduce downtime in his ability rotations and translate into more survivability due to the increased mobility and potential for generating overhealth more often with his passive ability. Additionally, Power Block will now always reduce explosive damage from a projectile stuck directly to Doomfist, even though normally you have to face the direction of the incoming damage to block it.
Oh, sounds everywhere.
The fusion driver damage fall-off range is increased from 15 to 20 meters.
I think they so now the Orissa's back to normal. I think this is good. Orissa needs some help for the long-range heroes, long-range fights. So I think it was a W Orissa update.
A buff. Fortify is also getting a huge health bonus, which is increased from 75 to 125. The devs comment that Fortify is sometimes weaker now due to the change to how armor damage reduction and ability damage reduction interact. Activating Fortify while Orissa has armor health remaining will hit the damage reduction cap and result in lower effective health than before, so we are increasing the amount of overhealth it grants. In addition, we are also increasing the fusion driver's effective range so Orissa can deal a little more damage before engaging at close quarters. Ramatra, Nemesis form, the block now reduces damage from stuck projectiles. For his ultimate, Annihilation, the ultimate cost is increased by 12%.
Yeah, that's fair.
Devs comment, similar to Doomfist's power block change, Ramatra's block ability will now always apply damage reduction to projectiles stuck to him directly. His Annihilation ultimate ability was being generated slightly too quickly for how impactful it can be, so we are increasing its ultimate cost.
That's a fair
his base
balance.
Movement ground deceleration is increased to match standard heroes movement. Sounds a little confusing. Let's see what the dev comments have to say. Sigma has always had...
Honestly, never really noticed Sigma getting pushed a little bit farther than anybody else, so not that really changes much.
Somewhat floatier movement controls than most heroes in order to match his character's movement animations. However, this led players to feel like his tank roll passive ability, which was decreased knockback, wasn't reducing the amount he would be knocked back since it took him longer to stop than other tanks. We've now adjusted this to the standard hero movement values to make the gameplay interactions feel more consistent. So this is basically putting Sigma where he should have been 10 months ago. Winston's Tesla cannon secondary fire charge times being reduced from 1.2 to 1 second. That means it charges up quicker. However, the secondary fire recovery time is increased from 0.5 to 0.75 seconds. So even though it charges individually quicker, the time between spamming them is longer, so that's a nerf there. The devs comment, Winston's Tesla cannon ranged attack had a decently long charge time relative to the damage it deals.
Guess that's
These
fair.
adjustments will make it feel more responsive to charge and fire, which can be useful for situations such as finishing off low health enemies attempting to flee or poking at enemies before leaping in.
I probably have to get used to how fast it charges, because I just did it based on muscle memory before. So now that it's faster charge up time, I also have to just get used to it. I didn't know that this was a change, but that's pretty good. Because now you can do it like while you're jumping, and if you're going to do like a jump engage, then it's a lot nicer to do the right click damage spam. So nice. Winton buff.
This comes at the cost of taking a longer time to recover after firing, which in some cases will be weaker as a burst damage combo with jump pack and primary fire. For Bastion, the A36 tactical grenade's getting massive changes. First,
Okay.
the maximum explosion damage falloff is being reduced from 70% to 50%. The detonation time is being reduced from 0.5 to 0.35 seconds.
Faster.
The recoil is adjusted to recover more quickly. Its projectile size is being increased from 0.2 to 0.25, and its impact damage is being increased from 15 to 30. For configuration recon mode, the reload time is being reduced from 1.5 to 1.2 seconds. If you combine that with the DPS passive after getting a kill, you can reload really fast. Transforming into configuration assault will also now repair 50 armor health. And if you
Okay, that's pretty huge for Bastion. Going into Terraform repairs armor health, so it's like a passive heal. Ooh, okay. So now you have to be careful when you're diving him when he's low. That's interesting. Okay.
go into configuration artillery, the targeting state movement speed is being increased from 20 to 25 meters per second, so you can select your targets a lot quicker. The devs comment that there are several small tuning adjustments to Bastion here with the goal of improving overall effectiveness, as Bastion's weakness of being a large and immobile target has proven tough to overcome, even with such powerful damage potential. Okay, Cassidy's changes are going to be a little bit contentious here. His health is going back from 200 to 225.
Oh my god, increasing
However,
the health.
Peacekeeper damage fall-off range is rescaled from 25 to 45 meters to 25 to 35 meters. That's a big nerf. It means
that
the damage fall-off will start earlier. Magnetic Grenade's projectile now has a maximum travel time of 1.5 seconds, so it doesn't chase forever. And the slow amount is being reduced from 30 to 25%. The devs comment, even with the powerful and reworked Magnetic Grenade, Cassidy has still been underperforming, so we are reverting his max health back to 225, having his gun damage fall off reach its full reduction sooner, and restricting the maximum range on Magnetic Grenade to help solidify his position.
Dude, that damage, like, range nerf is pretty big. Like, I feel like he's gonna get outclassed by a lot of the other DPS now. It's like, yeah, he wins, like, the close quarters, but, like, dude, even in this new map, like, you're so far away from people that, I don't know, that's kind of brutal to not be able to, like, you know, 2-tap somebody's going to be like a 5-tap. Like, that's kind of crazy.
As a close to mid-range damage dealer.
Yeah.
For Hanzo's Stormbow, the arrow draw progress is no longer preserved while wall climbing. The devs comment, despite being conceptually strange, this gameplay mechanic felt good and fluid to use as Hanzo. However, it often resulted in some frustrating behavior for enemy players that can be alleviated without impacting Hanzo's overall effectiveness too significantly. For Sombra, the EMP cost is being increased by 15%.
Let's go.
And it no longer destroys Lifeweaver's Tree of Life, which is a nerf to Sombra, big buff for Lifeweaver. Devs comment, EMP frequency is a little too high given its relative power, so we are increasing its cost. It will also now deal the usual percentage of max health damage to Lifeweaver's Tree of Life ultimate instead of treating it like a barrier and destroying it instantly. Soldier 76.
I think that doesn't really make much sense. Like, literally every ability in the game gets taken out by Sombra's EMP, like, you know, Wall, Orisa ult, and like all the others, like, stuff. Like, it would make sense that the tree should go away on EMP, because then it's just like, yeah, like, I think they're just trying everything in their power to make Lifeweaver viable. And yeah, I mean, that doesn't, I don't know. I think that's, like, I'm okay with Sombra nerfs, kind of like Sombra, but and very fun to play against. I think that, like, keeping tree, like, non-EMPable is, I don't know, it's kind of dumb. It doesn't really make much sense for the game since every other ability does get EMP'd. So, yeah.
6, Helix Rocket. Explosion damage reduced back from 90 to 80.
Okay.
Splash damage will do 80, but the direct will still do 120. Tactical Visor's alt cost is also increased by 10%.
I think that's fair.
Comment, Soldier 76 became much more deadly after his
When he got that damage buff, he got his ult way faster. So I think them doing like nerfing or increasing the ult percentage will just make him more like how he was before. Because you get ult a lot, like pretty quick now. So I think this is fine for Soldier.
his last round of changes, so we are reverting the Helix Rocket explosion damage to lower his burst damage. We are also increasing his Tac Visor alt cost to help account for his overall increased damage output, both during the ultimate and leading up to it. Torbjorn, his general weapon swap time is being reduced from 0.5 to 0.4 seconds. His Rivet Gun primary fire recovery time is being reduced from 0.55 to 0.48. That's a big buff to his primary
He
fire
shoots fast.
rate. The Forge Hammer, the swing recovery time is also being reduced from 0.75 to 0.6, so he can whack-a-mole a little bit quicker. Dev's comment,
Let's
we're
go.
continuing to add power into the Rivet Gun as the previous changes didn't quite make up for the turret damage decrease last season. In addition, we're also improving the Forge Hammer swing speed so that it is more effective to repair a turret while it's under fire. Onto the supports, Ana.
I mean, you're not really sitting there healing up a turret in the middle of a gunfight. I don't know if that's what they want you to do. But I mean, at least it's a quality of life. At least if it's low, you can just heal it up faster and get back to going. But I don't think a Torb's gonna be sitting there freaking healing up a turret, standing still. Doesn't make much sense. But all right, this Ana skin is sick though. They did a good job on it.
Who has the mythic skin, the biotic rifle damage and healing per projectile is actually being reduced from 75 to 70. That's a big breakpoint for Tracer. Unscoped projectile size has been increased from 0 to 0.1. The devs comment, Ana's damage breakpoint change has proven too effective overall given her long range, so we're reverting it back to its previous value. We're also increasing the size of unscoped projectiles when firing at enemies. Her projectiles have always had a larger size for allies, which should help them land more consistently against close range threats. For Brig, her barrier shield health is being reduced from 300 to 250, and the rally's cost is going to be increased by 6%. Devs comment, Brig's overall effectiveness and survivability have been high relative to other heroes, so we are reducing the barrier shield health. We're also slightly adjusting the ultimate cost of rally as it has become more effective after its rework. Kiriko, Protection Suzu, the knockback is removed.
I think this was stupid. Why? It makes no sense to remove the knockback. The knockback was so tiny, and at least it was just some fun thing in there. At least knock some people back, or if you used it right, you can stop and engage or something. I think that was kind of pointless for them to take it away. But I mean, I guess we'll see what they have to say. But I mean, I don't think it would have mattered if they kept the boop in the game, because it was pretty negligible of ever even happened, even though she had a knockback. I see a lot of people didn't even know she could do that, but it was there.
Fine. Healing reduced from 50 to 40, but it now heals for an additional 30 health, so 70 total, if and only when you cleanse a negative effect. Negative effects include Ash Dynamite, Anti-Nade, etc.
Okay.
Kunai, the damage is actually being increased from 40 to 45 on the body. However, the critical damage multiplier, the headshots, is being reduced from 3 to 2.5 times. That means you're doing 112.5 for the headshot instead of 120, but you are doing...
So can you still headshot melee a Tracer? Or is that a big nerf so Tracer can live?
more to the body. Its recovery time is also being reduced from 0.55 to 0.5, which means you can fire them out a little bit quicker. The devs comment, Protection Suzu now rewards more deliberate usage by increasing its healing when cleansing negative effects. It will no longer knock back enemies as it wasn't particularly important to its overall design and was there to provide feedback for the impact. These kunai changes will make the weapon damage output more consistent and reduce some of the disparity between landing crits or not. Life Weaver, lots of buffs here. Base health.
Bro, this guy needed a lot of help, so we're gonna see what happened, but
being reduced from 200 to 175, but he's getting shield health increase from 0 to 50, so he overall now has 225 HP with the properties of extra shield health. That makes him really, really good to self-heal. Thorn Volley. They reduce the spread for one of the 2 Thorn Volley projectiles that fire per shot by 25%. That's a big buff. Less spread means more of them hit. Rejuvenating Dash's healing is being increased from 25 to 50, and his life grip mobility lockout duration is being increased from 0.45 to 0.75 seconds. Big changes to Tree of Life, where 50% of its overhealing is now converted into overhealth, up to 100 maximum over.
See, this is crazy because they buffed the tree so much, and now you can't even EMP it either. So it's like this is like kind of massive or Life Weaver buffs. Like, I don't know if he's still going to be played with the new hero coming in and like tapping people in the head. Like the new hero is just like a Sojourn DPS. So I mean, I don't think it'll be much used unless it's like a Sombra, and then you just go Life Weaver to counter it. So I don't know.
It kind of reminds me of Briggs Rally.
So grumpy about EMP tree changes. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me there. I think it should be EMP'd. Having the tree just survive through that make a no sense, man.
Dev's comment: the Tree of Life outputs substantial healing, but often doesn't provide enough value for an ultimate ability. To increase its utility, any overhealing done via the tree is now converted to overhealth. Thorn Volley spread is also now less random, with half of the projectiles having a smaller base spread to promote better mid-range consistency. Life Grip now has a longer mobility lockout duration to prevent accidental cancels by the affected ally using a movement ability immediately after the pull being started. Finally, we are supplementing Lifeweaver's survivability with an increase to his overall health pool by converting some of it into shield health in order to account for his large pedal hit volume, his hitbox, on his back, as well as increasing the healing done by Rejuvenating Dash. For Lucio, for his crossfade, the self-healing penalty is now reduced from 60 to 0% for the duration of Amp It Up. Devs comment that in order to help bring Lucio's survivability more in line with the rest of the support heroes, crossfade self-healing during Amp It Up is now a more effective survival option for Lucio. In all honesty, I don't think Lucio had any issues surviving, at least in the higher rank.
Yeah, like I think that I didn't even know that he did get a healing debuff or whatever. So it's just a buff all around for Lucio players. Okay.
Thanks. This sounds like a skill issue. In any case, we're on to Mercy now. The final change: her Caduceus staff, the damage boost.
Yo, how many Mercy people are in the chat? Are you guys furious or what? I mean, I think this was a good change, but
is now being reduced from 30 to 25%. Oh boy. The dev comments that damage amplification effects have been an often discussed topic lately, and Mercy has been performing.
I think damage, yeah, like the damage buff and then sending out a Discord orb is just like, it's hard to balance games with those abilities in the game. Because it's like if you don't have those, if you have a character taking advantage of it, then they get rolled, but then you can't turn down the other abilities because if there is no other one of those characters in there, you don't want it to be weak. So it's definitely a tough spot for them to try and balance the character and still make it good.
Strongly at all skill ranks. We're reducing the potency of Mercy's damage boost beam, but want to make sure it stays powerful enough to feel like an effective and interesting gameplay choice, as making the decision between healing or damage boosting is core to Mercy's gameplay. There's also an overall update for how armor works. Armor's health damage reduction is now additive with other sources of damage reduction and has a maximum cap of 50% damage reduction. The devs comment that armor damage reduction was multiplicative previously with the damage reduction from abilities, creating situations where certain heroes were much more difficult to damage than intended since they were bypassing the damage reduction cap, which is 50% by the way. This change will smooth out some of the extreme spikes in survivability. This is basically targeted towards the Orisa change that we mentioned earlier. Illari is the brand new hero for Season 6 over
new hero, OP as heck.
Overwatch 2 Invasion. A quick rundown of her abilities: Solar Rifle. Primary fire is a long-range auto-charging rifle. Hit scan. The secondary fire is a medium-range healing beam that consumes solar energy. The Outburst launches you in the direction you're moving and you can knock enemies back. You can hold jump to go higher. The Healing Pylon deploys a pylon that heals the lowest percent ally nearby. The pylon doesn't expire, it can only be destroyed by the enemy or redeployed by you, and it sticks on any surface. Her ultimate, Captive Sun, fires an explosive ball of solar energy. Enemies hit are slowed and they're marked, and then they'll explode if they take enough damage. That explosion can trigger the next explosion for any nearby person that is marked by that solar flare.
Okay.
Flashpoint is a new PvP game mode. It
New
comes
game
with
mode.
two maps, Suravasa and New Junk City. The gameplay begins with both teams pursuing a central objective called a flashpoint. It's similar to Control, but it plays out a lot faster. Once a team wins the first central flashpoint, a random one will unlock. There are 5 total ones in the map. The first team to capture 3 out of the 5 flashpoints wins the game. Now on to the PVE, the Invasion story missions.
Pretty fun.
If you buy the Invasion bundle from the in-game shop, you can play the new story missions with your friends or
Oh, you gotta go buy the PVE. Yep, go play with friends.
others in queue. These are co-op experiences and you have to face all the invading forces of Null Sector. You can access the story mission through Winston's desk in the mission cards on the play menu. You can also explore the story missions hub and a new intel database for all you lore heads. Playing missions and completing various goals will unlock more lore entries, movies, and never before revealed details about your favorite heroes and characters and clues about the world of Overwatch. There's also a new LTM, a limited time event called King's Row Underworld. The last significant change is in the firing range, which got an overhaul.
Dude, the firing range, top tier change, dude. Top tier change. The firing range. It's actually pretty fun now.
There's ultimate accelerators to get your ult instantly. There's different types of bots. You can use these machines to change the bots moving around. And there's a new section back here where you can practice your aim. Perfect your crosshair tracking and aim skills up here. You can set up a bunch of different settings here and see if you can get a new high score. There's a ton of other changes to how challenges and other things work, but I encourage you guys to read the full patch notes. I just summarized the most important ones.
Thanks for summarizing
Thank you for
them.
always tuning into these seasonal patch updates on this channel. I stream all the time at Twitch, so come check it out. You can get some Twitch drops
as
too.
well.
If you watch my stream at twitch.tv/KarQ for 2 hours, you can earn the Coastal name card to customize your career profile.
God.
1 more hour to get the "You won't sink my battleship" voice line for Torbjorn, and watch
Those are
one
the drops
more
that happen
hour
right
on
now.
top
Make
of
sure
that
to claim 'em.
unlock the Captain Legendary skin for Torbjorn. See you on stream.
See you on stream. Yo, nice video, KarQ. But yeah, so those are all the changes for Season 6 Invasion. New hero, very nice. PvE, little lackluster. Maps look cool, but got a little boring. I think wasn't enough there. They definitely need to add new abilities into the PvE to make it fun. At least that was the first impression. Flashpoint. I'll have to give it a couple more games to see how I feel about it. It seems like it's pretty snowbally. If you win the fight, it's hard to like retake on it. But that's just like Koth by itself. So, I mean, that's just how it is now. You don't change maps. You just keep on fighting continuously as a Koth. But yeah, I mean, overall, big changes. See how many players come from Steam. But yeah, we shall see what else happens to Overwatch in Season 6. Thanks for watching.